What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 1/6 Fix for another origin story. I'm your host, Marco G, aka the Six Scale Scoundrel.
It's never gonna
Come on, everyone's calling me that now. And I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Gigi. Gigi, say hi.
Hi.
And we are joined here by some very special guests. Okay, one special guest and one person, that's all right. So our special guest, Liz, we use this joke every time, but it's true every time. And Ty, Uncommon Flex. How are you both doing today? Thank you so much for joining.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. I know I'm just okay, so it's
yeah. I'm glad
Liz
that you know already.
Yeah,
Liz, the question
I know my
is,
place.
What are you getting in return for being here? Because I have a long list for Marco.
Yeah,
A long list.
There you go. I'm
Well,
giving her a
I get
massage later.
Nice. Oh, I should have gotten the list in advance.
he's
I really
terrible.
should have.
Okay, no
Yeah.
list, no list.
There needs to be a list.
Nope.
Because I also in this little setup got the worst of the chairs that are available. Like he got the good chair and I got the worst chair. So that's definitely being
Come on,
added.
Ty.
I offered to switch chairs.
He offered to switch chairs after I brought it to his attention that he
There
was
you
giving
go.
me the
It was too
worst
late
chair.
by
So
that time.
it doesn't count. If
That's not true. Not true.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, really appreciate you both joining today, and we're gonna have a really fun, casual conversation. I'm gonna check in with the chat in a little bit, but I wanted to start with a warm-up question, really quick. Uncommon Flex, Ty. Number one, where does that come from? What does it relate to? And how does Liz feel about it? Did you have any input on it? Do you like the name?
So it's kind of funny because it started with my son. Like I used to have on my Xbox account my gamer tag, and I was trying to think of different types of gamer tags, and so I was like, I wanted to think of something ridiculous for him. Yeah, because he was coming up with all kinds of stuff like poops for days and all this kind of
Ooh, I
nonsense.
like that.
So I was like, hey, how about this? Uncommon Flex. And he was like, what? I was like, that's it. Uncommon Flex. It's I'm uncommon and I like to flex. So that's where it came from. And then once I got together with Liz, I ran it by her and she liked it as well.
Yeah, I did. I was like, that's a really cool angle because it says a lot about, it actually says a lot about his personality too. So I liked it. I liked it immediately. Yeah. He's good at
awesome.
naming things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's such a
I
great
name
name.
everything.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we did find out backstage that you all have a pancake as well. Tell us a bit more about your
I
pancake.
named her. So Pancake is, she's just a regular cat, but as soon as I saw her, she's the color of a pancake. So she's like that brownish pancake, and she lays around, and she just looked like a big old pancake to me. So I was like, that's Pancake.
Yep.
It's a great name.
Yeah, her name was like Almond Eyes or something ridiculous like that. I was like, seriously? That's a pancake. Come on. It's a pancake.
Oh man, that's awesome. You have way more rationale for naming your cat Pancake than ours. Ours was just like she came as Pixie, and we're like, it doesn't really fit. It kind of
We had the name before we had the dog. Really, I love breakfast or brunch, so I was like, oh, that's such a cute name.
There you go. So if we ever get another dog or cat, we'll definitely go Waffle or Bacon
Waffle.
or
Yeah,
any of
Pancake
the
for
in line there.
Yep.
Nice.
Donut.
Nice.
Let's see. But, so really quickly, let me check in with the chat, and then we'll get going. We'll kind of talk about the purpose of the show.
Absolutely.
So we got Tukathri in the chat. Tukathri, what's going on? Thank you for stopping in. We got my buddy Baby Boy 562. What's up, everybody? Hey, Baby Boy. Thank you for stopping on in. We got our friend Universal Key. Afternoon, everyone. Afternoon. Good to see you. I'm forgetting because it's still morning here, so I was a little thrown off. But that's an awesome thing about this collecting community is you'll just be streaming with people from around the world, and it's just such a great way to connect. Let's see, we got Gigi in the chat. I'm having, she's fighting with me. Yeah, it's pretty typical. So Liz, Gigi pretty much threatens to quit the show or the channel every time we go live. There's always a tiff that we have, and so she's getting pretty close every time I push her button. So
I'll get more into that.
yeah, I think it started. the first fight we ever had, or we just bicker. We don't really fight intensely normally. I asked her, "You're gonna wear that on camera?" I was like, "You're gonna wear that," and it sent her off. She's like, "You're lucky I'm even doing this." And
yeah, he was like, "Can you do something with your hair?" I was like, "Oh my god, we haven't even started it. It's gonna end right here."
So I've got a way with words. That's what you'll find about me. Let's see. We got Baby Girl 707. What's going on, Jay? Thank you for popping on in here. We've got Mark Pearson. Gigi wins the argument. Start the show. Yeah, pretty typical. We got Ty in here as well. Uncommon Flex. H Green. What's going on, H Green? Good to see you. Or, excuse me, Commander Green. I keep going back to his original name, but Commander Green's a great one as well. We got Equan in the house. What's going on, Equan? Hey, Equan, by the way, let me know if you're still planning on going to Comic-Con. We'll probably be in that area for a few days next week. So let me know if you're still planning to make the trip to San Diego. We've got Maverick Collector. Maverick Collector, what's going on? Thank you for joining. And let's see, Equan saying, the wife wouldn't let me name the dog Dr. Doom. That's a great
cool
name, actually.
It really is. I like that one.
I love that name for
Write
a
that
pet.
down.
Yeah, exactly. I might have to steal that. If Ty approves, we know his naming capabilities. So
there it is.
There it is. See, this is the camera.
I gotta look there.
That's where you gotta look. Yeah.
And so before we hop into the next question, I just wanted to say, Ty and I connected in the community because he sold me this Justice League Superman, which I had been looking for quite a while. And again, really appreciate you. Gigi's going to be like, what the heck? You did?
We gotta go.
Yeah. So he made me a really good deal, an offer I couldn't refuse, basically. And so, awesome in the collection and appreciate that. And so it's always great to connect in those ways. But we're going to talk about Hot Toys. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, but we're going to talk about Hot Toys, but we want to go way back in the day to when you both first started collecting. And Liz, this is applicable to you if you collected something as a kid. So really want to know about what got you started on collecting. Like, what's your first collecting memory, if you could? So either one of you, if you want to take that.
Go ahead.
Shall I?
Yes.
So I started with, and I'm going to date myself because it was the original Kenner, like 3 1/4 inch Star Wars figures.
Okay.
So I started with those. I had a massive collection. I remember even writing to Kenner asking them for I want to buy like 50 stormtroopers.
Oh my
God. And so I was crazy about that. I had G.I. Joe, you name it, like any of those little things. I had ships and stuff. I wanted the Imperial Walker, but I couldn't afford it then. But my uncle was good at making stuff out of wood, so he made me a wooden walker.
No, made you a wooden walker? What?
Yeah, he made me a walker out of wood so that I could play with it. I love that thing. Love that thing to death. But that was the earliest collection. I had those, and I gave them away, and I'm not happy about that.
So Liz, same question for you. Did you collect anything as a kid?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I'm on the same boat. I did not.
So I was, when Ty first asked me about this, being on this, I was just like, I don't know anything. I'm learning all of this. And so, no, I didn't come from the kind of family where that was something that was possible.
Okay.
I think it's cool. I've heard some stories about people collecting even as kids, and I think that's really neat. But yeah, I didn't.
Okay, you weren't a collector. Hey, fair enough. Yeah.
It's okay.
Gigi does say though she used to collect Pokemon cards, so that was that was kind of her entryway.
Yeah, so I did have I know I said in your little description of this show that it's about a conversation amongst collectors, non-collectors about what got us into hobbies and something about obsessive things, right? So yes. I was a bookworm and obsessively read, but I couldn't. We were broke. I was poor, so I couldn't keep books. I just was obsessed with the library. So I would get as many library books as I could and bring them home and read them obsessively and then bring them back.
A collector of knowledge.
Yes. Yeah. Experiences, imagination in my mind.
The most productive type of collecting, honestly.
That's
while
why
we
she's
were
so
busy,
smart.
Or you're busy collecting little plastic things. You were actually,
I was busy
improving yourself.
freezing.
It's making worlds in my mind.
I was freezing Han Solo in the freezer. Like I put him in a little thing with water, and I'd freeze him in the freezer, and then I'd
That
act
was
out
the-
the scene.
That was the
Wow.
carbonite chamber, huh?
Yeah, that was the carbonite chamber.
Oh my god,
The freezer.
Wow.
that is hilarious.
Yeah, my grandmother wouldn't have gone for that.
Yeah, yeah. I think my parents would have been pretty upset if I, tried something like that. But so Ty, you alluded to, you gave away your figures, but was there ever a time when you stopped collecting, when it like wasn't cool anymore, or like was there always you were always collecting something throughout your entire life?
I was always collecting something. It would change over time. Like it would go from figures, and you'd hook up with people that like not Liz, but other girlfriends.
What other
That
girlfriend?
Yeah,
Tell me about these.
No, decades ago, decades ago. That would
Too
kind
soon
of
still.
frown upon, the collecting. So basically, I would end up doing something else. Like, I noticed I'm like a collector of games too, because I have a ton of video games. I have practically every console. And now with Steam, with digital,
oh yeah.
I'm going to say it's out of control because I have like well over like 400 like digital games
It's
and
just
things
so
like
easy to digitally hoard
It really
things.
is. And they have the sales.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
I'll go back and sometimes I've bought things more than once. And it was like, you already have this in your library. I'm like, I do?
That's when you know it's becoming a problem. But yeah, like I collect video games as well, and like 4K Blu-rays. And I still have so many things in the package where I'm like, okay, this is from like 2 Black Fridays ago. I probably should have held off until it was cheaper, but I couldn't say no to the deal. So I can relate on that. So, okay, so you were
Absolutely.
always collecting something throughout.
Always collecting something, yeah.
Okay. And so when did you first hear about Hot Toys? It would be the first question.
So I was at work and I was surfing, and I got to remember, I got to look. So I
Whatever
was
Liz
surfing.
says.
She's the pro.
Yeah.
I was working, and I was like, okay, I saw this thing pop up for Hot Toys because I was at like a gaming site, and I'm like, this looks really good. Like, what is this all about? And my coworker at the time was like, there's no way that stuff looks that good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but dude, look at it. And he's like, there's no way. This has got to be some kind of scam. And so I had pre-ordered 89 Batman. I was going to take a chance, and I let him talk me out of it.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yes.
no.
And I was not happy because then I started seeing how these things looked, and I was like, I let this Joker talk me out.
Especially
now
that
what?
one, too. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What a beautiful figure.
So like my first actual Hot Toys was Black Widow from Civil War. And I figured she was only like $140. So I was like, I'll take a chance and see. And I got her in hand. I was like, wow, I missed out on Batman. But ever since then, like I was hooked. I was like, I'm just going to get a couple. I learned the difference between Hot Toys and Sideshow
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's a huge difference. And
We're learning right now, right, with those Clone Wars figures.
oh my-
boy.
You haven't seen those.
Yeah.
You should see. No,
Okay.
you should see those.
Maybe we'll pull some of those up later, and we can get.
You
their
should pull it up
impressions.
and let her see.
There you go.
But yeah, so I learned about Hot Toys, Sideshow that way, and I got into it. I was like, I'm just gonna get a couple figures, that'll be it. And now I have 5 detolfs, and still running out of room, and someone won't take me to get.
We'll get into that. There's a
Oh,
section
yes,
for
We'll
of
that
get
in
into
the
course.
show
that
Oh,
notes.
because
thank you, Liz.
I am brooding. I'm like,
The display is
stewing and
a sensitive topic over here in this household. But we're gonna go there
So-
because
we are gonna go.
if I'm gonna get my guests in trouble, I got to get myself in trouble
Yes.
as well. So
There you go. But yeah,
okay. So that all right. So you 89 Batman. That's interesting that was kind of one of your gateway ones. So Liz, when you met Ty, was he pretty deep into the collecting? Like, how did he introduce you into the world of Hot Toys and collecting?
Well, interesting that you should bring that up. No, so we met online through online dating, which I guess is like normal these days or
Oh,
whatever.
heck yeah. That's the way to
And-
meet people, actually.
Yeah, it's the way, right? And
This is the way.
I knew that was coming.
Had to.
right? And so pretty early, I think it was before we met in person, he did inform me that he was in fact Batman. And
Oh, that he was Batman. Okay, there you
that
go.
he was Batman. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone that. I told him in the beginning, I'm not good at keeping those kinds of secrets, so don't like put that on me because like,
Damn it.
and now I've outed him. So, oh well.
Wow. You got to put those things in your
and also-
profile. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first thing. And then also he sent me some pictures of himself with like Captain America shield. Oh gosh, I just knocked this. And like some Marvel masks and such.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to look here. And so pretty much I was like very clear that I was dealing with a geek and that was okay.
You're like, this
because
guy's not just into it. He is like into it.
He's
right?
like
Yeah.
into it. Now, that wasn't a deal breaker for me because for me, I've been through a lot and was married for a long time, as was Ty, both of us to other people. So, so we were single when we met. And so I was looking for something very different. I wanted someone who could make me laugh and I could get my sense of humor and keep up with me in intellectually. And he did all of those things. He made me laugh from the first chat that we had. He was like a real person. He wasn't just interested in sending me inappropriate pictures. He was struck that right chord. So there were lots of things that he was doing right and pulling my thing off is one of them right now.
Oh, no.
And so when, I didn't know about the extent of the figure collecting, but that wasn't ever going to be a deal breaker for me as long as the character was there that I was looking for. And by character, I mean like character traits, not like being Batman, but
Not being Batman.
so
That's just a plus.
Right. So at some point he did share that he was into collecting, and that was a new concept to me. Not collecting, but I didn't know what 6 scale figures were. I didn't know what Hot Toys was. I was amazed at the realism of some of these head sculpts. Like that was cool to me. So yeah, initially he was already into it when we met, but it wasn't a problem. Mm-hmm. The thing for me was just hanging back and watching where his priorities were because, to me, it's like everybody, I wanted a man who had his own sense of self, his own likes and dislikes, and his own interests. And so that was important.
This part.
Wow.
But I also know what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who prioritizes himself over all other things. And that's no fun. So having your own sense of self and your own interests, but also understanding how to prioritize the relationship and
To balance all that.
and to be on a personal growth journey was very, very important to me. So I just kind of hung back and watched to see if he was the type of person who, put the figures above all else, or if he was the kind of person who could prioritize a real relationship. And thankfully, he turned out to be the latter.
I passed.
Yeah.
I passed.
It's an ongoing job interview. We have this like joke going from the beginning that we've been like interviewing each other, and so far he's made it pretty far in the
In the process. I'm pretty far in the process.
No, that balance is so important. And really one of the reasons we started this channel was, because I easily lose balance. Like I just go so deep into things and get so obsessive with things that it's really, easy for me to put myself first. I'm a selfish person, admittedly, and working on becoming a better man. And Gigi's making me a better man. So no, thank you for sharing that. That's it really hits close to home. And I will say, everyone in the chat, we're kind of sorting through our audio. So if you're hearing any feedback or any issues, just let us know, and we can adjust on the fly here. So I'm going to address the chat really quick before we continue on to the next question. So we saw that one. Commander Green saying he told his wife he needs to get on the show, and she just laughed. honestly, come on, you know.
It really is just a venting session for the significant others. You know,
It's like
it really
therapy.
is.
Yeah, it is. No, but we're always learning from each other, right? Because it really isn't easy to, spend all this money and time in a relationship on these things. And so, Liz, thank you for kind of sharing that and opening the door. And I know we're going to get deeper into this, but really that balance is so key and something that we're working on daily, basically. So, Lane Kramer's saying, hey, Marco. Hey, Lane, thank you for joining. Let's see. Equan's online dating saves a lot of time and BS. Yeah, so Gigi and I met at a bar here in town. Dingy little
Barnes
bar.
and Noble.
Yeah, or we're supposed to say Barnes and Noble. Yeah. So it was. I never thought I'd meet my future wife at a dive bar, but here we were. So we missed out on the online dating stuff, but
Nice.
I could have had more. I could have had more choices.
Ooh.
You could have had more choices.
I could have. I had more choices.
Wow. All right.
And she
just
still
gotta-
chose you.
And she did. I know. For now.
I say that it's a running joke that it was just to make his mom mad, and the joke went too far.
Too many years down the line now. So.
Hey, oops.
we got Mark P in the chat. Hey, Mark P, what's going on? Thank you for joining. We got Doc Smizzle. He says, hi, Ty and Liz and Marco and Gigi. Doc Smizzle, we need to have you guys on. Absolutely. He's been doing some awesome content with his wife. And
they're
so
funny.
They are.
funny.
I think it's what's in the box is what they do together. And yeah, so we definitely got to have you guys on. Thank you for stopping by. We got OG fan. What's going on? Thank you for stopping on in here. So yeah, let's so we were talking about hot toys. And so Liz, when you met Ty, and Ty, if you can remember, how many hot toys did you have then? And like, how has your collection kind of grown and changed since then?
It's a very good question, Marco.
I know it might be tough to ballpark is totally fine.
So I would say when I met Liz, I had about 20,
Okay.
because I had like a DTOL, just one DTOL.
Yeah.
I
So,
was running out of,
right.
and
You,
So
did
that's
you have all
20.
20 in that one DTOF?
no,
Okay,
no,
you rotate
I
them.
had them, yeah, and some were just kind of out, and like just kind of chilling, getting some air, and then I would rotate them, so so some would get some air, some would be in the DTOF. I would usually put the ones that were easier to dust off outside,
There you
so
go.
I could keep them, I keep them cleaner.
The
So
troopers
like
and
our
such.
the troopers, R2D2, C3PO, that sort of thing, and they're sideshow anyway, so I didn't care.
Oh, there you go.
So now I am.
So when we met the first time I came over to his apartment, like you said, he had one DTOF, and now you have
5,
5 DTOFs.
Five.
and there's still not enough.
Yeah.
I
5 is only so
have-
much.
Yeah, I have.
Why are you looking at me?
And you don't have to. You don't have to.
Ty's like, how many does she think I have? Because I need to say
Yeah.
I'm
that
trying to
number.
figure this out.
Yeah,
Like,
and
wait.
you don't even need to say a number, Ty. We don't even need
No,
you
it's
to
fine.
uncommonly flex like that, but or commonly flex.
I think I'm at around like 50 or so.
Okay, okay.
I think I'm at like 50 or so.
To me, that's very in control,
Yeah.
Ty. Like I would say, I'm a little under that, but somewhere in that kind of ballpark, and that feels like a small, nice little collection, to me.
Yeah.
I want to see the
Yeah.
I want to see the ladies'
Can
reactions
I
with
ask
that.
a question? Over what?
How many
How
years?
many
have you-
years have you like did it take? You know what I mean? Like how many years are we talking here?
So I say the majority have been in the last few years, like especially when the pandemic hit. I really got back into it. Like
That's how I got
went
into collecting during the
I
pandemic.
went a little
so-
stir crazy.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Like I started shopping in Hong Kong and getting that stuff because Sideshow wasn't bringing me my stuff fast enough. So, but I had probably like a DTOF's worth for ever since maybe 2016, and then it really picked up, and these past few years I've really gotten into it. That's when I discovered the community, and it's been a lot of fun. Then I've had to try and control myself which isn't really easy.
No, it's
So
not.
it's a good thing Liz is around
Yeah.
to remind me of things because I am very much into this. I'm not gonna lie,
No.
and I'm like a 2-year-old with patience. I want it now.
Yeah, we always say Baruch salt, right? I want it
Yeah.
now.
Oh man. So Liz, question for you. So Ty, over the course of a few years, it's kind of built out, but it accelerated really quickly. Liz, was there ever a time in the pandemic that it became a problem, either with space or financial wise? Because I'll just say from our perspective, I started during the pandemic. I was like, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get Thanos. That's going to be it. He's going to be a nice little centerpiece for the room. You get these in hand and it's so easy to like start looking at other things. And so it got out of control quickly. And that's, it started being a problem, both space and financial wise. So that's
And with his wife.
and well, with my wife specifically for those reasons. So just curious what your take was.
Well, how do I go here? Are we going to talk about display issues later? Because I can bring that up now if that's...
Yeah, no, bring it
That's
up
okay,
now. Honestly,
whenever.
it's a
So-
free flowing conversation.
So, hi. Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hello there.
So as he mentioned, he had one DTOF. And this is going to bleed over into some other issues, was that
No, that's good.
he was not, how do you say, like... aware of IKEA and how like what you can do. And I go to IKEA all the time. So
So you're big on the interior design then, Liz.
do you go ahead.
I just want to interrupt for a second. I had gone to IKEA when one of my coworkers said, "Hey, get a DTOF from IKEA," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And he said, "Go there." I went there from work, and
This is before we met. We didn't know each other at
okay.
this time.
This was the worst shopping experience
Oh, no.
I had ever had in my entire life.
Because nobody prepared him for what IKEA
one
was
told me.
or
Or
what
that you got to go
supposed to
through a
do
whole
it.
damn maze to figure out where you're...
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm talking to the people who work there. I'm like, "Hey, I want to buy this," and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
I do. I want to buy it.
And they're like, "Well, you got to go here." Oh,
You got to load it yourself and you got to find it
I
in
know
this
what the
big
hell's
maze.
going on.
Yeah.
And so after that experience, I was like, "That's it. If I can't have it shipped to me, I'm not doing any more DTOFs." And because
Sorry,
go ahead,
Ty.
Mark.
I was just going to say from like an anxiety perspective to be in IKEA, like you feel trapped. You're like, oh my gosh, I've got to get to the... So I don't even go through IKEA anymore. I go through the exit and I just go get my DTOFs or whatever things and I leave.
So I brought this up because I may have enabled things to get to the next level because I introduced Ty to Click and Collect, which is where you go online
Cover
to
your
IKEA.
ears.
And you purchase it from the IKEA, you drop down, you click pick up, it's $0, and then they have it ready for you, and you just back your car up and they load it for you.
Marco, it's the best.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm
Yeah.
I'm sleeping on this. I've got to...
Sorry,
So-
Gigi. Sorry.
So now then he was like, oh, we can do, now they were out of stock. So that sort of saved the day for a little bit.
yeah.
But then, so now we're at 5 DTOFs. And so I participated 0.0. I helped him with the click and collect, and we drove down there together and had fun going down and picking him up and stuff. But I did 0.0 of the putting any of it together.
Okay.
And so that's all on him. And so at some point, he texted me and said, "Do not let me get any more DTOFs. I hate these things. I never want to put them together again." And I said, "You're a grown-ass man. If you want to get another DTOF, you can. Don't put that on me." And he said, "You would be protecting me from myself." I have, Gigi, I have the screenshot in my phone because now he wants another DTOF. And I'm like, "You told me not to let you get
no.
another DTOF." And
Maybe just one
I
more.
would be protecting you from yourself. Just
It'll be
just
even
one.
now.
how many,
Right. That's
Gigi,
6
I want to
is-
know,
God.
I want to know,
Perfectly
Gigi, how
balanced.
many times you've heard just one more or
Yes.
just one or just this. The overuse of the word just
Gigi,
is a problem.
can we get in? Can I address the chat really quick and then you get into your
Yes.
venting session because Okay, so let me say hi to some people really quick. So Ben, the attention-seeking
Let me
geek. Ben, what's going
gather my
on?
thoughts.
Ben, you're going to get thrown under the bus here pretty soon. So thank you for hopping in. We're glad that we've got our victim because you may have inspired me to make some moves that Gigi's not happy about. We've got Doc Smizzle saying they're taking a break. He had to unbox some of them on his own so he can enjoy it in the moment again. It's hard to feel like a chore, but we got more coming. Thanks for the shout out. Exactly us too. You know, I've been getting like more figures than usual recently because of the storm. And so it was just like too hard to try to schedule with Gigi to like do the unboxings, which we enjoy. So it's kind of like, you know, you got to pick and choose, but we're looking forward to your next one when you guys get back to it, but understand that how it can become a chore. We got Brandon Salad in here. Brandon, what's going on? He says, this is some great stuff. Love the show. Thank you for that. Let's see. Poor Flex looking like he's on trial. We're all on trial.
I was gonna say, my mind
Help
did
me.
go there when you went like this. I was like,
Mark,
plead the fifth.
That's it. We're trying to give you some breathing room here.
Mark, help me.
That's right.
Good luck. Good luck.
That's right. We got Absolute Irwin. Glad to tune in. Enjoy the talk. 10 out of 10 pancakes. Thank you so much for joining here. Doc's man. IKEA has a headache, but he wished he knew about DTOS back in 2010 to 12. He was buying Vitos Joe. Whoa, I'd never seen that before. And they're all being replaced by Moducase now. Okay. Let's see. Mad Facts. Let's see. So Ben knows he's in trouble. Yeah, it's coming, Ben. It's coming. Okay, so Gigi, go ahead. You
Okay.
vent.
So, you know,
Take a deep breath first.
I know. And I was like, where do I start? Oh my God. I don't get it. You know, I collected like Pokemon cards, but it was more like I think it was more like the bully in me was like, give me I want those cards that you have, you know.
Wow.
We don't have to get into that. You know, I've grown, growth.
Okay, good.
But I don't like, I get it. They're cool, but the amount, like, it's like an obsession, you know, like, oh, I just one more. And so I try, you know, this is a marriage, and I try to be like, I try to be supportive, and, you know, because I am very busy, and so, you know, like you were saying, Liz, the balance, even for me, right, the work-life balance, I have to do that. And so when Marco started collecting, this is something that we can do together. I don't collect, but I like trashing on it, so I was like a happy medium. And so, like, I try to be, you know, a supportive wife. And so I tune in, like, to whatever, when he's streaming and stuff like that. I tune in. I mean, there was a time where I was watching so many streams, and it wasn't, like, he was on them, but it's like, why am I here? Like, somehow I just, like, like, I would do it on my own. It was like, you know, almost like muscle memory. I wouldn't even think about it. And it was like 1 hour in, I was like, why am I here? You know? And,
Same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Using those texts. Why am I watching this?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so there was one instance where Marco and I have this running joke that we're just roommates because we don't, like, there's something, I was like, hey, you didn't tell me about this. He was like, oh yeah, I forgot. And so he didn't tell me about these, what are they called? Moducases?
Moducases, yeah.
Since the beginning, I said no.
She said no.
There was, is the big box that you have, is that considered a Moducase?
That's a Moducase, yes.
So it's like a big box. It's bulky. It doesn't, he tried it. He didn't like it. It's
For anyone that's watching that doesn't know what it is, and I'm sure everyone does, or for Liz if she doesn't know, they're modular. So it basically comes, you build it yourself, and it's metal with a felt bottom and then an acrylic front with magnets. So it's probably the cheapest alternative to displaying your collectibles compared to IKEA, which is going up in price, right? So that's why it's like everyone's go-to. But it does take about a year for you to get your order shipped. So go ahead, Gigi.
But
continue.
it's bulky. It just, I mean, I prefer these. He has 3 of these. So I'm like, that, you know, it looks neat. It's I like how it looks. It's fine. And so he bought this one a while ago, and he tried it. He didn't like it. It's sitting somewhere in the back.
To clarify the size so I bought it off a Sideshow when they had them in stock, but I think it was a DF60 tie. Maybe you know, it's like one of the like higher ones, higher and wider. So we were using it as like a side table And so it's
No,
not really
Lawrence.
scaled for hot toys.
You
but
couldn't put anything on there.
Well, okay. Anyways, continue.
No.
Because I want to get back to our guest, but I
Well,
want you to vent as well.
I'm just, so he had it sitting like in the hallway for a long time. I actually cut my leg on it, okay? And I was like, you need to get rid of this. Like, so it's now sitting in the back. So anyway, I'm watching a stream that he's on, and he says that he's getting, I don't even remember. I saw black.
You blacked out?
Like, if somebody said it or he said it, I don't even remember. I blacked out. And he was like, oh, yeah, I ordered some. And I said, the hell, what? And so, we're very transparent. Like, I did have an argument with him about it because I was like, you didn't check with me. Like, he was like, well, we have where my office is now. It's in the back. And so that's my office, right? But eventually we want to tear down the wall and make it one unit because it's kind of split in half right now. It's like a detached garage that they converted essentially to like an ADU. Mm-hmm. And so he wants that to be his video room. Is that what you called it?
Theater room.
Theater room. Mm-hmm. So he was like, well, when I have my theater room, and I was like, oh, so where, like, is that going to be our theater room, or is that just your
you
thing?
get to look at the figures too. It's yours as well.
Pronouns are very important, Marco.
I'm learning.
Mine versus ours.
Yes.
And with the idea, we don't have kids, but if we do have kids, this room is gonna be like a nursery or something. Mm-hmm. If we decide to have kids. And at that point I was like, okay, well, I guess we're not having kids because like I said, so where's my room? Like, where's my space gonna be? And he was like, oh, in this room. I was like, oh, you mean the kids' room? That's gonna be my room? And he's like, well, there'll be a desk in there. Oh.
It was all about timing. I didn't mean when the baby was there, but she misunderstood what I was saying.
Yeah. So I was like upset, like legitimately upset. I was like, these mantra cases are big. It's not like, it's not like it's sitting in the corner, like you can't really notice it. I was like, I would like for you to check in with me. I was like, I don't even buy curtains without, checking with you. It was a whole thing. I was very upset.
So I'll provide some more detail on the direction of the mantra cases in a second, but I do want our guests to have some more input. So question, tearing off of, you've got 5 DTOFs. You want to potentially add a 6. Right. Liz, are there any other directions that you all are thinking on? So you're obviously kind of helping him along with his display. And is there another direction you're thinking with the display room, or you want to keep it at just the 5 DTOFs and that's it?
Well, I'm fine with where it is. Like, it looks good where it is. And and there is room for another DTOF, and that wouldn't be a problem. Okay. It's just that he told me he does not want me to let him do it. But anyway, I think that the stage of our relationship, of where we are, and as we've talked about the next stage of things, there's a lot of conversation that would need to happen. I mean, there's some things that we do agree on, but I get that I'm a kind of person who likes to be realistic about what you're really doing, right? Like, let's talk about this from beginning to end. And I know that collecting isn't necessarily like that. Like, it's just this next one, and you don't really have like I'm like, what's the strategic vision? I'm like, what are we working toward?
I say like how the Joker described himself as a dog chasing cars. Like, that's how we are as collectors. Yes. Like, we don't even know what we're going to do when we get the thing.
Exactly. So when I think about like how big this thing could grow, and I'm like, I don't want to be in charge of that choke point. I don't want to be in charge of like where you manage your dreams. I think since Ty and I are coming into this relationship at different points in our lives, and it's most important to me that I'm with someone and we're with each other, building a partnership, building a life, but we both want to build a life that we want to enjoy. And this is something he enjoys. Like, he turns into a little kid and lights up from the inside out.
It brings us so much happiness.
It does.
But it's like, there's also the part of it that's like, but does this mean that the future is like my entire house just full of DTOFs and figures?
I just want the basement and to have my spot down there where no one has to see it. It's just my studio and my collection. Yeah, I'm not going to bring it into the living room or anything like that. And I do want to point out, I'm looking right there.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
like it, Ty.
I, I want to point out
Yes.
that I said, yes, I don't want another DTOF. I didn't want a sixth one. But then I saw Kiko's video on DTOF and I saw the assembly. And I saw what he did, and it's totally different from what IKEA tells you to do with their little stupid diagrams and the little guy in the instruction booklet. That, that's what made me so angry. So now I think with the sixth one, I'll know what to do and save myself some pain.
And I feel that,
And-
I know Lael says he assembles the DTOFs in like 15 minutes by himself. It took my dad and myself, like, I don't know, quite a while to assemble each one of these. And I'm pretty sure all of them are crooked. Like, we didn't do it right. So I feel your pain that they're a pain in the butt to get together.
Oh yeah, I had my son helping, and I was saying a lot of bad words, and
I relate
but
to that.
I'm good now.
There you go.
You've grown.
Yeah,
That's called
he's-
growth.
Yes,
That's right.
I think the word that, going back to it, is just this word just, right? That it's like, I just want this. I just want this. And then I have, one of my things is like, I remember, right? So I remember when it was the first just, and now it's another just, and now 14 justs later, we're in a very different position. So I get it, but that's a concern for me, is like, I don't want to be the person who's always saying no, but I also don't, how do you, where do you find that balance
just
of
don't
like,
say no.
That's
But I
right,
also-
Ty. It's all-
That's it.
but I also want to like have pictures of things on the wall and like,
there you go.
Just give me my basement. Just
Yeah.
give me the basement. I'm
Yeah.
good.
There you go. Your
I'll
space,
say
your
it.
footprint, where it doesn't expand out of that.
Exactly, like Leal does. Like his stuff is in the basement. He doesn't bring it up into the rest of the.
but my office is in the basement.
Yeah. Just a spot.
Little switcheroo. Okay.
That's it.
There you go.
We talk about that.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, well, it sounds like you guys are going through a lot of the same conversations we're having, as trying to find an endpoint, or at least like a direction for the collecting and the footprint of it. Totally relatable. I do want to get into budget. I'm going to address the chat really quickly here. So we've got Riley in the house. Riley, what's going on? Good to see you. It's been a few hours since I last talked to you on the on Denobi stream, I think. Let's see. Doc Smizzle saying the DF series is a very boxy, but can cover a lot of display options. Module case also looks a lot better when you have multiple connected. So let me get into throwing Ben under the bus right now too, before we move on to budget. But he's saying theater room stuff of dreams. Exactly. That's been my dream for so long. So what I have here currently that we're in, it's kind of a makeshift theater room, but I've got a vision for my 77-inch OLED and my surround sound and all that, but we're a little ways away from it. So.
Okay. All right.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right.
That's right. I know. We're good.
It's like, Liz, I don't want to say no, but why do you bring these things so that I can say
Wow.
no?
All right. I'm just gonna keep it to myself until it's time to. Equan saying, I think Gigi will have to sleep in the Moji cases now. Yeah, she might actually be able to fit. It can double as sleeping quarters. Toss a pillow and blanket and boom, comfortable living space for family of 3 or more. Yeah, certain ones. We got our buddy Cuervo in here. Cuervo, what's going on? Thank you for joining. Ben saying, as soon as my daughter is 18 and moves out, I'm upgrading my office to her larger room. She's 2, so I have a long way. So we wait a while, but you always got a dream. You always got a dream, Ben, right? Oh, man.
I have 4 kids, and 3 of them are adults technically. And so I'm laughing a little bit at that comment that you think that she's going to move out when she's 18.
Right. Especially, it's hard to fly the nest sometimes, for sure. Equan saying, buy now, think about the consequences later. That goes in storage. Yeah, exactly, Equan. That's exactly.
Come on.
Let's Doc Smizzle saying the great thing about collecting Hot Toys, it does take several years to amass a collection that could be considered more than plenty. Yeah, you could kind of build these things out throughout time here. OG fan saying, I don't want another DTOF. I need Maji cases now. Yeah, so this is
That's
the perfect.
oh god, so much,
So-
so much anger.
So let me take Commander Green's comment, and then I'll talk about where mine's going really quick. So I'm lucky my wife doesn't care about decorating in any way, so she's giving me free reign in our living room. So that's helped us having a smaller home. Do you have figures in the living room, Commander Green? This is something I'm curious because that's a no-fly for us, and it's seeming like Liz and Ty, it's a no-fly. So I'm very curious if you found.
So, like, I live in an apartment. Liz lives in her house. So, in my apartment, they are in front. Like, when I first started, the detox was actually in the bedroom, but that's no longer a thing. So, the five of them are out there near my son's, like, computer station, against the wall. So, they don't really, they come alive at night when the lights turn on, but that's
There
it.
you go.
And so people can see them, but they don't like jump out at you. Now the 65-inch OLED, now that jumps out at you.
Oh, there you go. All right. See,
Yeah,
See,
that's
I've
what
got
I'm talking
55 right now, and I want to go to 65 or 77, but 65 is, oof, love it. Jealous.
She encouraged me to get the 65.
Might as well go big, right?
Yeah,
did.
see? That's why I knew she was a keeper.
That's right.
That's why?
No, well,
That's why?
that and other things. I'm going to be
awesome.
quiet now.
Yeah.
no,
So
we're-
we have talked about that too. That like right now, the setup that Ty has, like we don't live together. Ty's son goes to school here, and my kids are in school up where I live. We're about 35 minutes apart.
Okay.
And so until one graduates, we have talked about that next step, but we have had this conversation about if we move in together, where will figures be? Like he keeps saying in the basement, because I don't want them in my living room, but I'm okay with them in his living room because it's his house and he can
his house.
he can have them, and it actually fits nicely where it is, so it looks fine. But in my living room, it wouldn't work.
If I
You
just
keep
want,
saying the basement. I hear you.
I want everyone in the chat to comment. If you think Ty should have his collection in the basement, just put #basement. No, I'm kidding. Don't want to get
It's a
anyone
nice
murdered
basement.
on
It's
this.
a finished basement.
It's too late for that.
It's not.
That's Marco's dream. A
Oh,
basement.
it is. See, my parents have a basement. They live not too far from us, and so I'm like, oh,
So you're going to put it in your parents' basement. You're going to put your
I'm
figures
just like,
in your.
Good
because
idea.
it's too much house
Good
for
idea.
them now. It's like, why don't they come move in our house? We'll take on the
Exactly.
mortgage over
There you
there. I can get
There you
that
go.
basement for my collection. It just seems like a win-win. So no one's going
like
for
that.
it, and Gigi included. But so let me quickly. We were going to move on to budget really in a second, but in terms of display, so I've got the Detolfs, I've got some Billy bookcases and some floating shelves as kind of my display setup in my small room. I didn't think Moducase would be appropriate because, as I said, I had the big one. It didn't really fit in here. And I've seen a few other displays that are like large. And I just like, okay, it's not going to be for me. But when I saw Ben's setup, so he won the contest for Graham's Jedi Knight Watches Moducase giveaway. So he got two of the, I think it's a 11060. Someone correct me if I'm saying that incorrect, but they're built for 6 scale figures, and they're a little bit more narrow and a bit wider, and you can kind of stack two if you need to. But I saw how he had it displayed on like some IKEA cubes to kind of elevate everything. So it wasn't like floor to ceiling Moducases either. And I was like, ooh, this is a really clean setup. And then I think that compelled me to go measure, and I'm like, oh, these will actually fit perfectly in my space. Like, I think this is exactly the inspiration I needed. And so I just
Thanks, Ben.
So I was like, it's going to be a year from now. I don't even need to tell Gigi about these because I'm just going to pay it off now, and then when it comes, I'll pay my tax. So Liz,
So I did come into your head when this.
yeah, no, I was like, I'm going to pay
so
my
you
tax.
just chose not to tell me.
So I don't want to get Liz or Ty into any hot water, but the tax that I pay is for every figure that I get or like display option. I'll put money into our shared account for vacations and remodels and whatever. So I will put that equal amount. Sometimes it's a little bit delayed, but I'll put that equal amount into the shared account to make sure that I'm. See, I've given too many ideas here, just to make sure that we've got room for balance. I know, damn it, Ty, why'd you agree to come on here, man? You should have learned your lesson. So I just like I'll pay my tax when they arrive a year from now. Like no harm, no foul. it slipped out when I was on a stream that I didn't know she was watching, and so now I'm in hot water. Anyway, so let's move on to the next topic of budget. So tell us a little bit, Ty, about how you budget for these figures, because obviously they're not cheap. There's a lot of them that we want, obviously, and so kind of walk me through the process of how you maintain balance in that realm.
So I find that what works pretty well for me is like the payment plans, because then it just kind of comes out, and it doesn't sting as much as like when you have a bunch of pre-orders and all of a sudden it's like boom, they all hit at the same time. It's like, well, I don't have enough money for any of this. So payment plans definitely help, because I did get caught up and I missed out on a lot of good figures like Hoth Leia. I missed out on like Dark Knight stuff, 89 Batman to get like the Joker. I missed out on that because they all came in at the same time and I chose one figure over another. Like I chose Wonder Woman over Leia, and I will never forgive myself for that. And you can ask Liz, like, because I used to have Wonder Woman. She's gone now because I could not get her hair to work at all. She doesn't look like Gal Gadot at all. And I just had enough. And so now I have no Wonder Woman and no Leia. But I did learn a valuable lesson. Don't get carried away. Because, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's like $25. That's not a big deal. Yeah. Let me just put that in. And then they all come back at you like, boom. But payment plans is nice and easy. So that's pretty much like how I do it. Liz is trying to teach me more about spreadsheets.
Oh, yeah. Essential, so honestly.
I'm slowly coming over. Very slowly.
You're migrating your system to the spreadsheet. Okay.
Yes. Very slowly. Very. But I see her point.
And what is it? What is my point that you see?
Very slowly. Very slowly. Yeah.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah. But like to manage, so you see what you have out. That way you can budget, and it doesn't get in the way of the other priorities, like the main things like rent, food, stuff like that.
Semi-important.
So, like my son likes to eat. So I have to account for that.
Kind of selfish on his part, but I mean, I guess.
It really, he should be better.
Right?
I mean.
Go ahead, Gigi, ask your question.
Can I ask a question about the payment plan? So is there, how many, do you have, one? Do they all, sorry, I don't even know how to ask this. If you have multiple payment plans, do they all, do you pay all at once? Let's say you have 3 figures. Does the monthly payment or whatever, however the time frame is?
You're saying like a credit card where it's all due at one time versus on a different timeline?
Well, are you paying, one payment plan here and then another payment plan in 2 weeks, or are they all
I'll let Ty answer because he's got a little more experience with the payment plans.
My question is for him.
Okay, good.
Oh
a lot of it depends on when you actually buy them. If you get them at the same time, then you can set the payment plan so they hit at the same time, so you could just kind of have it all taken care of at once. But sometimes the figures don't release, or when you see one, you're like, oh, I want to get that. Now you've kind of got it staggered. But I know with Sideshow, if you do their payment plans, you can choose the date, so you can make them all the same date if you want to. And sometimes if if something comes up, you can always push that date, push it back and postpone it. So there's some flexibility there, which I like.
Because I feel like I would forget, or does that ever happen where you kind of forget, or you forget?
Well, it automatically charges.
Oh,
and it tells you ahead of time. Sideshow will tell you hey, make sure you got this money in here on this day, because this is when we're going to take it out.
Which is where a spreadsheet can come in handy.
That's a good point, Liz. That's a good point. So,
slowly.
Liz, I'm practicing. I'm practicing for my hearing on Wednesday, so this helps me because it's the follow up.
Oh,
wow. I'm trying to get him. This is good. I'm trying to get him. Put the carrot in front of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on trial.
That's good.
Yeah, this is a damn trial.
Oh man.
Now you know. So Liz, how are you convincing Ty to kind of move over to the spreadsheets?
Oh, well, I told him that I want to be with a man who's good with money. So
Okay.
That's a good incentive.
That's motivation right
And Ty,
there.
until she finds him, you'll have to.
And she's with me.
That's right.
no, I think that, so just 10 seconds, like I mentioned, I grew up poor. And unfortunately, I worked my tail off. All that bookworming that I did as a kid did position me to get a scholarship. And I went to college, first in my family to do it. My family on one side immigrated and the other side, just has kind of been here. But anyway, so very hardworking family, but I went to college. I worked my tail off, was going to make a better life for myself and my then husband, and then got laid off when I was pregnant with our second kid. And through a turn of events, we ended up right in the same boat that I was in as a kid. And we were on welfare for 5 years, and I had 2 more kids. And at one point, I drew a line in the sand about 9 months after my youngest was born in 2006. I just kind of that's it. And I turned my life around financially. I just said, to be quite honest, it got to a point that we ran out of food. We were taking the kids in a wagon to a free food bank to get expired food. And it was just this moment where I was I'm never going back to that place. And so I worked my fingers to the bone and got us off of welfare, paid off all of our debt, eventually started a business. And budgeting to me is just non-negotiable. It's something that when you've been in that place, I can't say that for everybody. My lived experience is that being in a place where you have nothing and no options, and you have little kids looking up at you like, mommy, that's just it's in my DNA now. So
Absolutely.
it's sort of sharing my story with Ty about where I am now and how I live my life now. Now I do well. My business does very well. And it has for many years. And I do a lot of things to safeguard that. And I still budget today. I don't have to, but budgeting is my ticket for tomorrow. I am never going to be in that position again where my kids, my youngest is 16. They're 16, 18, 20, and 22. So they're not in the same position. But I am never going to be in that position again. So budgeting is just part of my lifestyle. And if we're going to continue building a partnership and a life together, that's something that, would have to kind of happen.
Slowly.
So I've never been this is how you have to do it at all. I just shared my life and shared some of the, the real boring spreadsheet stuff that helped me, the disciplines that I learned, the things that I learned to help get there. Oh, thank you. Thank you in the chat.
Riley.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Thank you, Riley.
sharing
Yeah. And so Ty, of his own volition, he's this incredible, creative, powerful soul. And he, of his own volition, just started, got inspired by that when I first shared that story and started and wanting to learn more and asking, because I would never force that on anyone. So just sharing, kind of the things I do has helped him, I guess, learn how to, that there's a pie and we have to decide how much.
This is the way.
All of us have to decide.
Yes.
All of us do it whether we
Right,
want
it's a
to or not.
zero-sum
Is
game.
right. We have our priorities. And if you want to put a figure in your budget because that's a priority to you and it brings you joy, then I say do it. Go, more power to you, as long as you're paying the rent and hopefully putting some money aside, feeding the kids. They always got to eat, and hopefully putting some money aside for that emergency fund or whatever, and paying the light bill and doing those kind of things. Live your life.
Absolutely.
Just do it on purpose. Don't do it because you
Willy-nilly
put yourself in a corner. Right? Yeah.
Which is how I used to be,
Yeah. It's
never-
so easy to do that.
Yeah, I haven't been that great with money over the life. I never had a really good example of it, but now I do. So, I see that you can do better and you can get the things you want and still be financially responsible at the same time. So she's been a very good inspiration for me.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing that story, Liz. And that's some real world stuff. And I know Gigi can relate to a lot of what you said. And I will say, because I started collecting during the pandemic when a lot of folks were like on hard times, Gigi was like, you need to be aware that like this, at any moment things could turn and you cannot get over your skis here. And so we're really fortunate to have you all kind of balance us out and make us better people and kind of teach us and learn. But did you want to say anything about that topic, Gigi?
No, I think, exactly. That's kind of been it. Like, because I grew up really poor too. And so that's why I'm like, oh my God, like these, and I didn't collect. So it's just like everything you were saying is like, yeah, 100% how I felt. So I was just like, when I first realized how, I was like, this is so much money.
Yep. Yeah, I did have some sticker shock when I saw how much these figures were actually cost.
It'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's something where you can easily start adding up money. But I'm big on focusing now on abundance and recognizing that there is money to be made. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, so it's like, okay, if we want expensive toys, we need to ratchet up that income to pay for it. Like you have to have that offset, or you're in over your head in debt. You're up at night. You can't sleep. You can't enjoy your life because you might have a lot of really fancy, pretty things, but your psyche is like, either you're like head in the sand, not paying attention, or you're burnt up with stress, and it's just for what? So yeah, I hear you. And I just think we have to, if that's what you want, you gotta work for it. Gotta get the income up to accommodate it.
I love that perspective. And also like going through what you went through, not saying like, no, there's no room for these frivolous things, that acknowledging that you can do it, but there's got to be sacrifices that have to be made and accounting for how to get there. So really beautiful perspective.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. I'm gonna address some folks in the chat really quick because let's see. Cuervo was saying this is back to the display options, but a wing is is the dream. Okay, Cuervo. Commander Green was saying he does have figures in the living room, so we've got to know more about that. I think you guys do have to come on. So please show your wife this clip and asking that we want to have her on so we can know how you guys make that work. Let's see. Cuervo saying, really going to have to build a 2-story ADU and I'll be happy. That's kind of where we're at, the detached garage. I'm like, maybe we'll just make that 2 stories and just make it a whole, it's a pipe dream for now. But let's see. OG Fan is saying it has become our living room. Wow. Okay. OG Fan's also in the figures in the living room. I'm really impressed that these folks have managed to do that because it is a no-fly zone in this house. Let's see. Ben has gone ran and hide. Yes, ran and hid. Sorry, Ben. Didn't mean to throw you under the bus, but love your display. Like it's just so simple and really elegant. So I get inspired.
Inspired.
OG Fan saying multiple payment plans twice a month. It's like buying a figure every month or two for me every 2 weeks. Excel is a must to maintain order. Yes, I agree. Like I'm big on the spreadsheets. Gigi doesn't get to see my sum because I don't ever want her to know that number. But I just want her to know that I'm paying my tax. I've got a plan. I know which figures are coming. And
so the tax is on an honor code then.
Well, okay. So we have a separate spreadsheet where I've kind of everything's laid out.
That's
and
the question, Liz.
She could sum it up, but it doesn't reflect my entire collection. So the stuff that happened in the beginning before the tax was implemented, that's all.
So the tax isn't retroactive?
It's not retroactive.
You're not going,
no.
Oh, I think we might need
Don't
to.
give her ideas.
Several. Okay, several. So we got. It wasn't
this has
like
been
immediately.
great.
Yeah, right.
Thanks,
It
Marco.
wasn't like-
Thanks, Gigi.
It wasn't like we implemented the tax immediately. I agree, Liz. I don't want to crush your dreams. Do I have fun doing it? Yes. But I don't want to crush your dreams immediately, And it was just getting out of hand. And then eventually I was like, what about giving yourself a budget of X amount? And he was like, no, I don't want to be constrained. Okay. It was a very generous budget. And then it was like, well, no more than 20. And then that went out the window. So it was like multiple, iterations of this. And then eventually we're like, okay, the tax.
The tax. And here we are.
The tax comes in. There you go.
But yeah, once you make that first spreadsheet and you sum it all up, you do want to pass out. You do feel sick to your stomach, but then I realize how much happiness this brings us, and it's all worth it. 12-inch Moose Stream, by the way, thank you for joining, says installment plan through PayPal credit. Make each payment over $100 will give you 6 months to pay off without interest. So there you go. That's a good tool. I will say I do use the PayPal Pay in 4, which is like every 2 weeks. So you can kind of spread the pain of a figure off over a few weeks. But I have had a few instances, where I'm currently at, where it's a few overlapping, and you can get yourself into trouble really quickly on that. So just something to be aware of. But there's a lot of tools to kind of help you, finesse and make sure the bill doesn't all come due at one time. But you got to have a plan, like Liz is saying. So Philip the Fool, what's up, y'all? Thank you for joining, Philip. Let's see. Liz, that story you shared again was really some real world examples. OG fan is saying 17 figures
Nice.
so far this year. Okay, you are in it, and that's beautiful, and I love it. And I want to hear more about your display and your plan for the future. Let's see. I'm on insurance agent and risk management. My whole life is on a spreadsheet calendar. All right, so yeah, OG fans got it dialed in. Oh, man.
It's my kind of life right there.
It's funny
Spreadsheet,
too
baby.
because spreadsheet people get so excited. Like it's like
Yep.
Ty, the emotion that you have when you get a figure. I feel like you light up. That's the same expression I get from spreadsheet people. That's what I call them. Like just like it makes them feel so good.
Oh yeah.
I love a good conditional formatting, where it like automatically
yeah.
will change the colors when you
What?
change the values of the spreadsheet. So Ty, as Batman often says, vengeance, and I go spreadsheets. It's like
That's her battle
that's
cry.
my battle cry. It's spreadsheets.
That is awesome. Can you hear us okay still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we had a little technical glitch on our end. So Riley is asking, Ty, does Liz know about a particular statue? We're trying to get some folks killed
Riley?
today.
Riley, bruh.
The one that you're
Not
the
that
one that you're
Riley.
printing right now, right, Ty?
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Black Widow.
Quarter,
the Black Widow.
yeah, quarter scale Black Widow. That's it. That's it.
That's the one?
That's the one.
I think that's not the one.
I think that
actually.
it's the one I did. It's my story. I plead the fifth.
Riley, I need to
You're learning,
you and I
Ty.
need to
You're
chat.
learning. Yes.
Happy
Riley.
Saturday,
The
everyone.
fifth. Thanks, Riley.
man.
I can't wait to talk to you.
That's right. I know. We're gonna have to I'm gonna get the chancla out for Riley. He's let's see. Doc Swizzle saying stares at Excel spreadsheet with red, dry, cracked eyes, eyebrow twitching, 100%. Literally, the first time I summed it up, I was like, "What have I done? Why did I do this? I have nothing to show for this money." Oh my god. Let's see. Is a Powerball a plan? Mega Millions? Yeah, that is a plan for sure.
That used
it's
to
not
be
a
my
good
plan.
plan. Liz is like
No,
not
it's
going
not
for
a
this
plan.
at all.
Growing up
There
as
is
a-
there is money to be made. I'm a business consultant and I do very well, and there is money to be made. We do not have to rely on the ridiculousness of the lottery.
And Liz, I do want to do a plug for your channel really quick before.
Oh no.
We're gonna do it at the end. All right.
No, thank you though.
Okay. All right. At the end, we're gonna circle back to it. But
Yeah,
I
at
just
the end.
love
There you go.
I love your messaging for sure. So
okay.
let's go to the last
your
one.
voice. You have a
yeah,
really
I
good
know,
voice.
Liz. You're
Thank
it's
you.
a pro
Great.
here, and then
It's
a bunch
great,
of
right?
Thank you.
nincompoops and Liz.
No, gosh, no.
Oh boy.
clown she's sitting next to.
That's right. And we're going to get into content creating in our next one, but let me just get through this last question here. So OG fan is saying, Gigi is right on. Every time I move a figure on the spreadsheet from want to order to ordered to have heightens the excitement of collecting.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
We could have a spreadsheet to organize your figures and then, be exciting. Be extra exciting.
Absolutely.
You'll learn the magic soon, Ty, but I appreciate you having an open mind. So
I
let's
am.
talk about
I'm open
let's talk about your content creating. So, you started collecting hot toys, your collection grew. At what point in time did you get into YouTube content creating? And Liz, kind of what was the role that you played in all of that?
So again, good question. Thank you. So it's funny because I started off with my son years ago actually came to me and said he wanted to be a YouTuber. So I was like, what the hell's a YouTuber? Like, what is? I didn't even know what YouTube was, and he told me, and I was like, oh. And so being a tech guy, I was like, oh, there's stuff I can buy to do this. So that's what I got into. And so we built up the channel and started making gaming videos, things like that, and a couple little tech things. And then he decided he didn't really want to do it anymore. And, and so then I was like, okay, I still want to do this. I
Yeah,
like
you're
this.
all into it now.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to do it. And so then I was like, well, do I really want to stream games, all the time? Like, I'm not really a game streamer like that. And I don't like Twitch. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And then around 2020, that's when I had that big bout with anxiety and depression, and that kind of changed everything for me. And once I sought therapy, which, I used to be totally against, finally got that, and it
And can I
changed.
just echo Ty and just say like the
Yeah,
mental health portion and seeking help is like just so important. Like, sharpening that
absolutely.
muscle, absolutely something that Gigi and I do and advocate. So right there with you, brother.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And so once I found out and how good I was feeling, I wanted to like find a way to share that with others. And I was like, well, YouTube, I could do that, but how? Like, and so it wasn't going to be really gaming. And then I stumbled across the collecting community, and I
Okay.
realized how good I felt when I was collecting. It was like a peaceful thing. It was part of what my therapist calls my toolbox. So that was one of the tools in my toolbox. So I started doing that, and I met Liz, and we were talking about it, and I let her know right up front about the issues I had had with anxiety and what I wanted to do, and she was with it the entire time. She was all for it. So uh, once I saw the community, I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. And I even told my son earlier this year, I said, I'm going to be on with those guys. You see those guys I'm watching right now? I'm going to be on there with them. And I am, and it really didn't take long. And it's been a beautiful thing for me. The only thing now is being a content creator. I realize how hard this is, like with the reviews, and you can have hours of footage, and then when you finish editing, it's like 6 minutes. It's like,
Exactly.
that's it. I got 6 minutes of good stuff,
Yep.
but like, it is a passion though. It's something I truly enjoy, so I'm gonna do it, and with the help of Miss Liz here, who's gonna help me like manage this a little bit better because she knows about these things. Setting up production schedules so I could, I want to get to where I'm putting out like at least one or two videos a week and get on that regular thing. And, she's going to help me with that. But
Yeah, we're going to work on a production schedule after this. So
yes, so
on a
Awesome. That's so
spreadsheet,
Love
on a
cool.
that.
spreadsheet.
On a
happy
spreadsheet,
Saturday.
essential. But
Slowly.
so, but it is
But
so hard
that's
to be
it.
consistent, right, Ty? Like
Mhm.
to put it out consistently, to schedule, and the time it takes to edit those videos. Yeah, it's incredibly time consuming. So go ahead, Liz. You were going to maybe say you're going to help him with the production schedule. Or are there other ways that you're encouraging Ty, or any ways that you feel about the YouTube stuff in general? Maybe you supported it initially, and now it's like taking too much time. I don't know.
No, I'm a big supporter of this, and in fact, one of the questions I had in my dating profile was, "What is?" I don't remember exactly how the question went, but it was something like, "What is your life goal that you're working on right now?" Like, I'm so sick. I got so sick in the online dating world of hearing those questions. Like, oh my God,
I
the
like to do things.
like the same boring conversation over and over again. I'm like, tell me about what is a big picture life goal that you're working toward? What are you working toward? And Ty was the only one that answered that in a way that was compelling. And he shared a video after we got off the dating app and we were texting. a video that he had posted on Facebook of himself talking about wanting to launch a channel around, gaming, but it was, at the time it was gaming, but with the themes of helping those in the mental, who need help with mental health. I think this is an incredible moment because we are in this place where more than ever, we're more connected than ever, and yet we're more disconnected than ever. There's so many people who feel without a community, and in that sense of isolation, they're just sort of floating. And so having someone say, I struggle with anxiety, I've struggled with depression, I got through it, and you can get through it too, and there's people to help, and that to me is incredible. And whatever medium you use to do that, let's do it. YouTube is, I think, number 2 behind TikTok in terms of number of views and streams and all that kind of stuff. So let's get on it. Now, I'm a project manager, business consultant, and I've spent a few years in the digital marketing space and helping launch specific products for people in the education or the wisdom business space. So I'm very familiar with that. The idea of launching something in this is a little different, but I remember having one of our first conversations about this idea where Ty was like, I'm not going to do that thing of where
I showed my ignorance.
He's talking about wanting to launch this channel and build it, but I'm not going to do that thing where they ask to like and comment and subscribe.
Oh my
That just
God.
seems, and I'm explaining calls to action and so I'm supportive, but also, trying not to be, trying to help without taking over. And,
I was like, oh,
there's a reason for that.
and that's why they do
You
that.
don't have to be annoying about it, but there is a reason for it. So I'm very supportive. I think it's incredible. I think being able to tap into what you love to do, putting it out there and connecting with others is just awesome. So
I want to say one thing. If it weren't for this lady right here, I would not be talking to you two right now. I would not be as far as I am already with my channel and everything that I'm doing. So I really owe it to her.
oh, thank you.
That's awesome, Liz. and no, I really like the mental health aspect of it as well. And I know during the pandemic, my anxiety got really bad, and there's still things that I'm working on, to this day that, we're still in the pandemic, I guess. So,
Yes.
but yeah, it's so easy to kind of lose balance, and we were so isolated and continue to be. So really, really resonated with a lot of the things you all said. So yeah, no, Ty, looking forward to your channel expanding and for you to have, buttoned up spreadsheets for each time you're going to go drop content. And
Like real show sheets.
there you go. No, we're a
professional.
bad example of what to do. We're hardly buttoned up, but yeah, it is hard to have that consistency for sure.
And I want to say 2 things.
Please do.
I love that it's something that you can do together, right? Because with how busy we are in our lives, sometimes you're so focused on your work or something like that you kind of forget to make time for each other. And so I think that that's really beautiful that you get to do this together, especially Ty, because you have an expert like Liz. And
We have it
Definitely.
with something we're working toward. We haven't been able to do as much of it together as I would like, because my business is full time, and I haven't. Mostly my clients these days are brick and mortar corporations. Mm-hmm. So I backed off a little bit of some of that digital space because the turnover is so quick. You have to, everything is so, and just things going on with my kids, I needed something that was a little more steady. And so the knowledge is there, but now we're working toward working together a little bit more as I turn that corner. So
yeah, so I think that's really, really beautiful. And for me, I don't collect, I don't do any, but it's something that we can kind of do together. And so I forgot what my second point was. Sorry.
Well, I'll move on to Commander Green's comment where he was saying that's something that he's dealt with for a long time and would love to talk to you more about it. So I'm assuming he's meaning the mental health aspect. And
Yep.
yeah, when you have
Absolutely.
that conversation, I'd love to be a part of it. I will point everyone to Collecting Weekly. They did an After Dark about, I think it was about depression was the overall topic. or no, it was anxiety was the overall topic. We know they go hand in hand, but it was so cool to like see so many people like being open about it and like, oh, those are a lot of things I'm going through right now that, you know, it's easy to feel shameful about, but then to know that you're not the only person going through it. And in fact, a lot of your fellow brothers and sisters are going through it. It makes you feel a lot better. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I do have another question.
Oh,
Sorry.
can I just say this one thing? Riley's saying he's a like, comment, and subscribe kind of guy, and he feels violated. If you're watching and you haven't hit that like button, though, go ahead and smash that
Yes.
like button.
Exactly.
And if you're not subscribed to Uncommon Flex, what are you doing? Go subscribe. Go check out his collection
come on.
tour, his 5 DTOFs, soon to be 6 DTOFs.
Yes.
Yes. You got a lot of grails in there, my friend.
Just one more.
They're out of
There you go.
stock.
Oh, boy,
They're out of
I know,
stock.
But that's true.
Oh, boy. Go ahead and ask your question, Gigi.
This is more for Liz. Liz, if your household is like our household where like streams are going on all the time and like how do you handle like it's not even like, you know, like Ty said, even content creating takes such a long time and you're a little bit more familiar with that, so you understand a little bit more than, you know, I would say me. But how do you deal with, you know, the time management and like, you know, is it too much sometimes, or how do you strike that balance?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think on the content creating side, I definitely understand when he's creating, I get it. Like I get it. And we're open about intent. Like, you know, I'm going to be editing for the next few hours. And so I get that. I think the number of streams that he's either participating in, which I'm super proud of, like when he gets invited to be on a stream and I do try to watch and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, especially on like the Friday nights or whatever, I'm like texting him like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
Some pretty deep cuts for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm out.
I support you. You're doing great. I'm super proud. But goodbye. And so, but also like just the watching the streams that he's not on. And so, that's been, it's a challenge at times, but I, like I said, have a full-time business. So I have a lot to do and I have, 4 kids, 3 of which are quote unquote adults. One just graduated high school. 16-year-old at home and lots of stuff going on. So like I get that he has friends to play with on the internet.
Yes.
But I have had to get better at, and this is something I really admire about our relationship, and I encourage others who are, you know, going through this, is that this version of relationship is new to me. I've never been in a relationship like this where we can be open and honest with each other. And I've had to get better, and he's had to get better at saying what we want, need, or the story in our head. And so if I'm feeling like I want attention, like that's not been something in my life that I've been even aware that I needed to say, like, hey, you know, it seems like you've been on, you know, it seems like your attention is elsewhere. I'd really like it if we could talk, or that kind of thing. And there's a little bit of like this idea that I had, I think maybe in my 20s or, you know, at some point in my earlier journey where I thought like that was unromantic to have to say that you need what you needed. And now I just realized that it's so much better, because when I do say to him, hey, you know, I need some, I don't say I need attention, but when I'll say, you know, I wish we could talk, or I miss you, or I feel like we, you know, we're distant, or that kind of thing, he immediately responds and like, what's up? Let's do a call. Let's figure this out. And that, seeing him respond to me, I've learned to shift that to say, oh, it's just that he's really, really interested in this particular thing and he's focused on that, and not to take that personally, but just to say, okay, we need to talk. So what I've had to do is just get better and better at verbalizing and really tuning into what it is that I need. And so far he's been really good at like, and then even proactively saying to me, you know, like we were going to go to New York to go to Madame Tussauds Museum, which was a longtime dream of his.
Yeah.
But it was on May 5th. And so I said to him,
Yes.
are you going to be on your phone on May 5th for all these announcements and all of this situation?
Celebration.
Because I'm not interested in going to New York City for the day and doing all of this effort and going and to have someone like just to see the back of your phone all day. So what is, do we need to reschedule? Do we need to do it? And we had a really open and honest conversation about it. And I did see the back of his phone a lot, but it was because he was taking pictures of all the figures.
Exactly. I was
you
good.
go.
I was good. I was in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment.
He really
So I
was.
good.
Yeah. So
No, that-
I don't know if that answers the question, but I try to take it one day at a time and just be more transparent. Like the story in my head is you've been on that stream watching that for 20 minutes and that I'm not interesting to you, that's more interesting to you than I am. And I've had a long week and I want to watch this girl show that I would not be interested in at all. I want to watch Love is Blind.
Oh my
I got him
God,
hooked on that
yes.
show.
Hey Ty, it's pretty trash, but I'll watch it. It's pretty.
It is trash.
Entertaining.
It is trash, but it's
There could be some fun with that though. Like
yeah. We
you know, she-
we roasted all the people. Like
Yes,
she took me to watch some stuff, and we had a great time doing it.
we did. It was a lot of fun.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
Yeah, because so something to what you said. Sorry, I'll say this and then you can go on and do whatever. So Liz, that's the same things. Like I had to, the streams are on all the time, and we've talked about this before. With each other and with other couples. It's like, this. I'm really busy. I'm in law school. I work full time. I have a hearing that I'm prepping. Like for
Yes,
this
we've
Wednesday.
heard. No, I'm kidding.
I'm trying to say something nice
Oh,
about you.
see,
what
look
I
at
mean?
me. I
This
messed
is
it up
why I
already.
We messed
can't.
up.
No, I don't even want to say
Come on,
it.
Martha.
But
I have to say, Gigi, that's super impressive. I was pre-law and was accepted to law school and then got pregnant. So I did not go. And so much kudos to you. I am.
it was a
I'm in
terrible
awe.
idea. I don't know whose idea it was that this would be a great idea. But in any case, when you're so busy and you're like, sometimes especially gearing up to the trial, I wake up at like 7 in.the morning and I'm working until like 2 in.the morning, because it's just like crunch time. And so I do appreciate that he has, and again, mental health is a really big, and I appreciate that he can talk to other people and, feel like and something productive, right? He can be out doing other things that are,
Hoeing around, as you like to say.
I do say that. Spending his money elsewhere or whatever. So, but one of the things that that you mentioned, you kind of have to take a step back. And so whenever I would be done, my back office, I'd come in and I'm like, he's watching his streams or, whatever. And I'm like, okay, it's time to drop everything immediately because I'm in the house now and you need to, I need attention now.
Right.
And so that's something that, he's brought up. He's like, you have to understand that, I've had to be self-sufficient for a little bit. And so when you come in and just expect me to drop everything, it's a little bit difficult for me, And so like you said, just talking and having those open conversations. And so that's made me kind of take a step back and, acknowledge that, yeah, he is, doing his own thing and I need to be more understanding or aware that I can't just be like, okay, I'm in here. It's like that
Right.
SpongeBob
I
meme
have
where the fish
arrived.
goes, or the SpongeBob meme where the fish arrives. It's like, I'm here.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Well, yeah, thank you for saying that because we actually ran into one of those last night where Denobi was doing his midnight run. Mafia was on. I was like, all these figures have dropped. I kind of want to hear what these guys have said. Although I've seen 20 streams and been on 20 myself and talked about it all. I still am interested to see, the different perspectives from the community. She doesn't get it. She's like, you've been plugged into, every opinion there could possibly be on all these figures. But I appreciate that. She's like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. You just watch it. And so yeah, Pancake and I watched those guys
There you
last
go.
night. That's right. So let me
you
just
go.
say hi to a
Yep.
few people in the chat. John, the Everyday Collector, what's going on, John? John should be one of the next folks we have on. We're working on getting his significant other on as well. But even if we don't, we can still have a conversation about how he deals with all these topics here, and just really great to get various perspectives. So we talked about the content creating. We've talked about budgeting. We talked about display. So I think where we want to end up is Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this best. Okay, so Liz, when you guys move in together, he wants the basement. You don't. That's your office already. So how can you maybe find some compromises in terms of spacing overall when you all decide to merge your lives?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Marco.
Yes, yes, it is.
So I'm open to options and to discussing things, but I'm big about, like, similar to budgeting, like there's like space is space. Like there's only so much space that exists. And so there's lots of things that if and when that day comes that need to happen in the house, including, people moving rooms and different things. And so I'm open to discussing how these things could all fit together. The basement is laid out where my office space could still be there, but we've got to talk about it and work it out. I think that one thing that may be harder for Ty to come to terms with is that I have made it clear.
Oh
Uh-oh.
no! Oh no!
So I have no qualms with his figure collection, except for
Boy.
Pennywise.
Pennywise. Oh no.
But that now this is what, like, the road, like, this is the crossroads, right? Like, in my house that I currently own, I'm not going to have statues in my home. Like, I'm not.
Like
I'm
the full
because they will
size ones,
because
like
they
the
will come to
1-to-1s.
life in
Oh,
my
the
sleep.
1-to-1s.
They
Yeah.
will come to life,
I mean,
and they will
look-
kill us in
they
our
look
sleep.
really fantastic, but
No.
they do look like they're about to speak.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're talking, like they look like they're about to do something, to you.
I
I
think
tried to explain, like they don't have legs.
Yeah, it doesn't. No.
They'll float.
When they
Ty,
when
they'll
they
float.
when they animate in the night, it's just no. It's a no. So that's Ty's choice. Like, if he wants to make a life with statues, he can do that. It's just not going to happen in my house.
Okay. Come on down, Ty. We'll make a life over here. We'll get some statues. We'll get some busts.
Okay, me and Marco, we'll
Okay.
we'll be
I mean, have fun.
She's like,
That's good. Gigi, you and I can go. We
Yes.
can start our own law firm. We can,
There you go.
That's right.
rule the world. So
Ty,
the short answer to your question is I don't know how it'll all fit together, but I know that if it's something that we go through with, then we'll figure it out. We will figure it out.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you for being transparent on that. And so Ty, I want to talk about some of the new ventures. So you collect 6-scale figures, looking into statues. You got a 3D printer, and so you might be dabbling in some things. Why don't you tell everyone what you're doing with the 3D printer? And I do want to say really quickly hi to Cobra's Collection. What's going on? Thank you for hopping in here. But go ahead, Ty.
So I actually have 2 printers right now. I have a resin printer, and I saw that comment, Marco. You're about to get hit over the head. That's pretty funny. And I have an FDM printer.
Can you explain to us what the differences are?
Right. So FDM uses a filament where it actually melts the filament and forms a figure. Like, actually, this one right here. Like, this just
that's
finished
it, okay.
on the printer, so it's sort of like a little scarab type thingamajigger.
Wow.
It's
Oh,
got
is this
some
a
springiness on-
Spider-Man? Is this one of the drones?
It looks like it,
Yeah.
It's a
And-
scarab from Halo.
from like Halo,
From Halo.
something like that.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But like those, you can't really get the same amount of detail. Like, resin is a liquid that actually gets cured with UV light. So it's usually when you see statues and things like that, they're made from resin because you can get a lot of detail in them. You can hollow them out, make them a little bit lighter, but they're a little more fragile than the FDM. So resin printers are messy, less sanding, quicker than FDM usually. Like, this scarab took like 24 hours to do, whereas if it was on a resin printer, it'd be like 4 or 5.
Okay. Wow.
But-
So significant time savings.
But like I sent you that picture of like the Black Widow. That was done on the resin printer. You can't get that kind of detail
Okay.
on a FDM printer.
Yeah, her head sculpt was like spot on. Like you saw
Yeah.
ScarJo right there. Liz seems unimpressed. Liz, what's your feelings on the 3D
Oh,
printing
yeah.
stuff?
Oh, my God.
So
Yeah, let's do this one.
Yeah.
so I'm okay. I'm okay with the 3D printers. I think that that's really cool, and that's part of what we're working on in terms of the next phase of business ideas. Like, so I'm okay with the printing itself. It's just I'm not cool with the statues. Like, but I am cool with it in terms of the fact that he's a grown ass man and can do what he wants. I just it's not my favorite thing to see, especially first thing in the morning, a picture of like a half naked woman that he just printed. I don't understand what that's
It was
the priority of the thing that you text to your
It was
girlfriend in the morning.
Psylocke, and I had painted the base, and I was very proud of the base that I had painted. It was the first time I painted. I dry brushed, I blended stuff. I
And it
felt
looks
really
great.
good about it. And I
You did a
just
great
wanted
job.
to show her how it looks with the figure on there. And then that's all I heard was, that she's half naked.
No, I said I could have done without the screenshots first thing in the
Yeah,
morning.
and then
That's
she
what I
sends me a picture of a spider that she
I
allowed
sent-
to live.
He hates bugs, so I sent him a picture, a video of a spider.
Oh, man.
Anyway, yeah.
You guys are trading a little text message war before the day even started.
Yep.
Okay. So it's the half naked women statues, Pennywise, and full size
Marco?
busts or
Allegedly. You have to say
This-
allegedly.
but I will say that Psylocke looks great though. Like honestly, I thought she had a lot of clothes on. In fact,
She did. She was fully clothed.
Fully clothed?
She had long boots.
Okay, all right. Okay.
She had a costume on.
Okay, great. Yep. Sure.
Things. So,
Fantastic.
yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
And I knew I made a mistake as soon as I included her in that picture.
So-
I should have just left it at the base.
So just to talk just briefly about that is that I look at the printers as a business opportunity, and Ty sometimes looks at the printers as,
A
printing
hobby.
his own figures like, for himself, just printing more figures and bigger and finding ways to slice them and make them bigger and bigger, which I think it's still he's learning how to do it. He's learning how to do it.
There you
so
go.
like he's making all these figures for himself to learn how to do
I'm
it
testing.
for
I have to test it
for the
for
business.
the business.
Right.
Sure.
Because one thing that you can do with these is some people have Patreons. You can participate if you're a member of that. You're allowed to sell the file. Well, not sell the files, but print out the figures and sell them.
Right. But
And-
now there's just a bunch of body parts laying around.
Yeah, there's a lot of heads and legs.
And I should have been prepared so I could share a picture of this. But Ty, you'll be doing some content on your channel in the near future, right?
Yes.
Kind of illustrating.
Yes.
So I'm going to show Gigi a picture of your ScarJo so she can see the details. Apologies for everyone that can't see it, but you got to go over to Ty's channel to check this out because it's very impressive. Like, this is awesome stuff, honestly.
And you said that's resin?
That's the resin printer. Yep.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome.
But
I
the
know.
the FDM is more for like practical things. Like you can build things just for household usage. Like I built this. I printed out this little tool thing for the printer itself that just like slides
wow.
into the printer and holds the tools, so you don't
awesome.
have to
That's really
go searching for it.
And
So-
then like my kids are super into D&D, and he's made like little D&D figurines for them. So like my kids think that Ty is the coolest in the world.
He's the
'cause
coolest,
he-
They're
first
right.
of all.
They're right.
Yeah, they are 100%
They're
right.
right. But
They're right.
That's really cool
yeah,
though that
no.
that your kids have that shared interest with Ty. And so are they into like superhero stuff as well? And
I mean, they're Marvel fans. Two of them are much more into D&D than that kind of thing, but they geek out all the time over the stuff that he does and the pictures that he takes of all of the things. So yeah, they think he's super cool. They're surprised at me that I was able to, that I have such a cool boyfriend. They're like,
yeah,
Ty is way
sexy-
cooler than you ever
sexy
were,
and
Mom.
cool. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. Sexy flexy. That's it.
There you go.
Sexy Lexi. Dang, that's really,
Oh,
really
man.
awesome to hear. Oh man, Ty, so in terms of the D&D stuff, what have you ventured down? So like dye or like actually printing the figures?
Printing figures, printing like dice towers for the figure, for the games and things like that. You can also print out tabletop like scenery
Yeah.
and things like that, like,
Monsters.
and monsters, so you can really make it very very involved, and really pull people into that game by doing that, because they don't have to imagine everything, they can just see it all laid
Hmm.
out, like,
Oh, that's awesome.
them. I never thought I'd get into D&D, but then meeting her and her kids,
Hmm.
I was like, this is another thing I can do. This is more
Yeah.
tech I can do. I can do, so I just keep printing everything out.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
son's like, so are you actually going to paint any of these things? Like, you keep printing, but when are you
Yeah.
going to paint? I'm like, yeah, don't you talk to me. Don't.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Like, let me have my fun.
There you go. The painting is definitely the most challenging part, right? Well, there's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of challenging parts, but I'm sure that's to take it to the next level. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I got to
excited.
dial in my settings.
Hmm.
There you go.
She's not buying it.
Yeah. But you learn by doing. The more and more stuff that he
Exactly.
practices on that he enjoys, then the better he'll get, the better for the business. And I definitely see the D&D stuff as like a good potential avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
there's a
that's
huge community.
definitely something we're going to be incorporating.
I'm going to turn our camera off for just a second, and that way I can get up and I'm going to show you one of the things that the FDM printer could do.
Oh yeah, let's see that. Let's see this. So,
Yeah.
in the meantime, all right. So, Gigi, we're gonna let you vent. I will say before the stream started, like right before, luckily Pancake didn't lose her mind. 2 figures came, and I'm really good at spacing out my figures, but because they've been coming so fast and furious recently, I've been having to put a lot of money aside for the tax, and then also paying for the figures, and it's been a bit draining here, and like a big wake up call for me on pre-ordering stuff and kind of putting yourself in a corner. And yeah, it could really go south really quickly. So I'm hoping things slow down here. The Module cases are still a year out, so I'm going to have some challenges in display room for now. But Gigi, how are you feeling knowing those figures were coming?
So I don't even want to look at the boxes anymore. And I think the issue is that, like, this is your hobby ultimately. And you're like, oh, come look at this. Come look at this. And I'm like, this is your thing. Like, but I don't look at the boxes. Like, it's like, I block those out. But I did realize that you were going to be ordering a few things, because every day on our WALK, Mark would be like, I put this amount into our shared. Oh, I'm going to put this amount. And the
Okay.
amount started getting larger and larger. And I'm like, okay.
Oh man!
All right. So you prepared me. But
Yeah.
at this point, it's not, at this point, I think the tax has been working very well. You work hard for your money. You're allowed to have a little bit of fun.
Just a little bit. Though.
Just a little
Just
bit.
a little bit of happiness for me.
Yeah. Liz, I
So
was like,
Gigi, is it a $1 for $1 match
Yes.
tax, or is it a
Yes.
percentage? Oh, okay.
no, one for one.
One for
Yeah.
$1 every dollar he
Yeah.
spends.
But it's because we're in California though, so the tax rate's higher here. So
There you go.
that's,
I'm in
that's
Jersey.
the reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
so it's
taxes
gonna-
are high in Jersey.
Oh man.
But you're in PA.
Yeah, I know, but you're in Jersey and you're the one spending the money. So
Oh man.
So let's move on.
Yeah. All right. So tell us about what you've been printing.
So here is the Scarlett Johansson, the
Looks
Black
so
Widow,
good.
Wow.
that 4 quarter scale figure.
So
you can see.
the picture you sent me had like all the wiring running down, all the resin dripping down, right? So what's the
Yeah.
process to kind of get it to from where that was to where it is now? Because this looks complete
So what-
right here.
Yeah, so what happens is when it first comes out, it looks kind of slimy because you still have some wet resin and things like that. So what you do is you have to, like, I spray it down in alcohol or some sort of cleaning agent that'll clean the figures, and I have like 99% pure alcohol, which I love the smell of. But by the way, that's not weird. It's not weird.
No, not at
So
all.
I
No,
also I have a cleaning station, and so basically I dunk it in there, set it for like 5 or 10 minutes, and it like swirls it around, cleans it, and then you let it dry, and from that you put it in the curing station, which will use UV light to finally cure it. Because at that point you still can't touch it with your hands because you can develop an irritation over time. So you have to use the gloves and whatnot. So that's why it looked real slimy in that picture, because she was, she'd just been in an alcohol bath.
Oh, got
So,
it.
Ty, how big is this thing? Can you?
so how big would you say that is?
Okay.
Can you
But
put it
it's
next to
quarter
your
scale.
head so we get a sense of scale? Pretty
Oh
damn
wow,
big,
that's pretty
yeah.
big. I thought it was like
Yeah.
like a 6.
Man.
Oh
Okay.
no,
It's quarter scale, so
Yeah.
it's
You want to hand me Han Solo?
Okay.
A little
Wow.
less afraid of that one coming to life,
It's just a head. Like, what's she gonna do? But like, this is
there's that just word again.
this is
Yeah,
There you go,
yeah.
Jess.
the sideshow Han Solo,
Oh,
and this is her.
wow.
It's
So
a big
6 scale
Wow.
yeah.
and quarter. But then once it cures, then you prime, paint, things like that, and do whatever you want. Like, she's actually hollow, so she's very lightweight. Like, you could actually see, like, there's some holes here, right there. So that way it uses less resin. It's a little more fragile, but less resin is always good.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. That's cool though that you're
do this
trying
one?
different techniques.
Yeah. Now
See
this
this?
is a bigger version of like my D&D character.
Oh,
Barack.
is it? Yeah, I'm gonna actually bring you up full screen here so we can see this.
So
Wow, that's
Wow.
awesome.
that I printed.
That's so
Like
cool.
Nvidia's camera thing is playing games, but
Yeah, it's not blurry. in
Yeah.
real
yeah,
life.
it's not blurry at all. But like, and there's actually Pancake right here.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
love
gosh,
that.
that's
I have a
awesome.
little Pancake right there, so she's keeping me company.
To be clear, Ty's pancake, not our pancake. For anyone that's joining
Right.
the stream
Yes.
late.
Yeah,
Yes.
my Pancake, my Pancake. And so this is the Donkey Kong that printed on the FDM
What?
printers.
What is it? Sorry, I should have left you in there. Oh my
That is
gosh.
so cool.
The
And
thing I
you
think is
paint
so
this?
cool about this,
No, this was rainbow filament.
Wow, that's
and it
awesome.
printed like this, so there's no assembly. It like literally printed
no
all these
way.
interlocking parts.
No
like
way.
Wow.
yeah, like
What?
if you
That's
you
crazy.
see like there's joints there, like it
Yeah.
printed like that. It's
Oh
it's
my
incredible
gosh.
to me.
That's
What techno-
that's the future right there.
yeah.
So we're going to be selling these.
Yeah.
We have the
to
license
cover your
to sell
tax
them.
tie?
Don't you dare, Gigi. Don't you dare.
Nervous.
Yeah, I know, Ty's like, well, it's good knowing you, Ty.
Yeah, you too,
Yeah,
Marco. You too.
so tell us if we're interested, how might we get our hands on something like this? What's the
So-
game plan?
So let's talk to my business manager, the business head of the company, which I actually do have a company. It's called Uncommon Media. That's that Batman
Okay,
inspired
I was
logo.
wondering. Yeah, I was wondering
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep, Uncommon Media.
Yes. So we're putting a business plan together to launch some of this. And that's part of what we're doing today is actually how to
Business.
connect these dots. Because I really respect, like I'm an analytical thinker. I do have a creative side. I'm a writer. I'm a storyteller. I like all that side of it. But Ty is a creative soul, like down to the just down in his heart, and I want to respect his process. So sometimes I can come in and try to be a little too intense with exactly how to. So I've been giving him lots and lots and lots of space to test things and learn about how to do
Rein me
things.
in.
Now we're
There
going to have
you
some
go.
fun conversations about just how to answer these questions. See, the good people of the internet are asking,
Yes.
how can they get your products? And we need to have an answer.
Oh, this is actually a holder, so you can paint the miniatures. So like you could just stick them in top.
Wow.
Like Barack here, you could stick him on
That's
the top
so cool.
For painting.
while you paint. And so you can, yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to make you full size again.
So I
you
guess,
just spin it around.
oh,
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
no,
sorry.
he's
cool.
he's trying to do
Yeah,
full size.
so there we go.
Oh, that's
So I guess
awesome.
for now, it's follow Uncommon Flex on YouTube
Yes.
and Instagram.
Yes.
And
What's your
once we
Instagram
have
handle, Ty, sorry, I should have
Uncommon
incorporated
Flex.
this, but Uncommon Flex. Okay.
at Uncommon Flex, yep. And once we have all of those things set up, they will be announced there.
So
Okay.
we're thinking about like some t-shirts and stuff too.
All
I
right.
was.
Well, yeah.
I guess I was.
You
gotta
didn't
see-
clear it with your business
I did
partner.
not clear it with my project manager.
He has on multiple occasions mentioned that. Yes.
Well,
We need to do one thing at a time, though.
Slowly.
slowly, there you go. Well,
Yes, I'm sure there will be merch. Yes.
Okay, well, looking forward to all of that. And Cuervo was saying a 3D printed version of Marco, please. No one wants
Wow.
that, but I am thinking, Gigi and I are not, into the D&D yet, but she does love watching Live and Let Dice on Collecting Weekly, where they do their D&D
Yes.
campaign. So,
Again,
Yes.
why
Yeah.
am I here?
Yes.
I've never
Yes.
even played
Yeah.
D&D. I didn't even. I kind of knew what it was, but I've never
So what I'm
Nobody
thinking
in-
though, Ty, is I think we need you to make Gigi and I our D&D characters. I think I need to workshop some ideas with you so we can
Yes.
maybe end up getting our D&D characters from you so we can have some representation of us instead of a
Absolutely.
3D printed version of myself, which again, no one wants that. Let's make it our D&D characters.
Yes.
So.
I'm seeing Gigi with like a shield that just says no on it.
Oh, wow. Yes.
She said no.
I like that.
She said no clan.
That's right. That sounds absolutely perfect, actually.
My only ask is that I be taller than Marco. My
Done.
figure be taller. Yes.
Okay.
Done.
So Cuervo's asking a question if you collect any comics. And this will probably be the last question we take here because I know you guys have a full day ahead of yourselves.
That is something that I forgot to mention when you asked me about collecting. I used to collect comics all the time. I got out of it for a while. I do have more of a digital comics collection because some of the jobs I had, I've discovered that I have a real hatred for paper.
Yeah.
So I do a lot more digital now than the paper. But I do collect mostly Batman. That's my guy.
Oh, okay. Okay. So Batman is your go-to.
Batman's my dude.
Okay.
That's my dude.
All right. Yeah, me as well, man. That's one of my OGs, I would say. Spider-Man, Batman, the X-Men. That's my so you're still going
Spidey.
down that line. All right, Spider-Man for you.
Yeah, I'm
See
a
how
Spider-Man
people
fan.
normally have one.
They stay in their lane?
You,
Yeah.
you just mentioned 3. You said, "Yeah, that's my man," and then continued to mention more men.
That was the A tier of my tier 1.
Oh my god.
So then okay.
Anyway.
Anyway.
And one of the things that he mentioned, X-Men, is multiple men, and
Yes.
women.
Yes.
I know.
Psylocke is
You see the problem,
There
Liz.
you go.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, man. An OG fan is saying, hate to age myself, but I've been playing D&D since 1978. That
Oh,
is
nice.
awesome. I want to know, is it like the whole campaign throughout or what have you been, wow, has it like changed a lot? That's awesome to hear.
Yeah,
It
this
has
is my
changed.
first
It has changed a lot since
my
78.
first D&D campaign. Liz and her kids. So I've always respected it from a distance and never thought I'd be involved in it at all. But it's been fun, especially because I can print stuff. I can do things.
There you go.
And I have good snacks.
Oh, great snacks. Like old man candy. So, it's all good. It's all good.
That is awesome. Gigi, you were going to ask something? No. Oh, okay. I saw you
No,
like
I
lunging
saw that.
forward. Okay.
Cuervo said, "Gigi, we can have more than one man." I said, "Oh, okay."
Uh-oh.
Point taken.
Cuervo, come on. This
Noted.
unintended consequence here. Cuervo did say, I love a bunch of men. Yes, Cuervo.
No.
You know what? We talked about it, though. It's a spectrum. It's cool, man. I'm there with you.
But Gigi, it's just more men, more taxes. Just
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
We were, in one of our group chats,
I
we were
love
all
this idea.
we were all talking about how ripped Chris Hemsworth got for this latest Thor movie. Like,
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous. The guy is just unreal. So,
Yeah.
just a bunch of grown men talking
Ryan
about Hemsworth.
Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is my favorite, though. Like, I think we would have beautiful babies.
Agreed. Yeah. He and I as well. Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. 2K3.
I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Have you met gay? Does anyone know this term?
Is that a D&D thing?
I feel like this is a setup. Like he's going to say,
Oh,
oh man, let's see.
every time.
OG fan saying it has changed a lot. I have to play edition 5 mostly now, but on occasion still get to play OG D&D. Wow. Okay. That's That's really awesome. I'd love to hear more about that, actually. Okay, so let's just finish up with the chat here. Taxes is not what I think of when I think of Mormon. Let's see. Great stuff, guys and gals. Got to run. James, thank you so much. I think we're wrapping up here as well, but really appreciate you popping in today. And Cuervo saying that Thor is a beefcake. No doubt about
He
it.
really is. Yeah.
All right. So,
I admire that man's physique.
yeah,
Me
gosh.
too.
What?
Me too.
That's right. Hey, everyone. A little for everyone.
Man,
So
he's
OG
something,
fan.
isn't he?
OG fan is saying Gary Gygax is the inventor of D&D. Oh, got it. Okay. All right. So Tukathri is echoing that. That is okay. Well, now we know. We're learning a little bit, but yeah, Ty, let's connect a bit about our characters and we'll workshop some things. So
Absolutely.
So tell
And
us,
that's exactly where you need to go.
there we go. There we go. Tell us more about what's coming up on your channel, what you've done previously that we should check out. And then Liz, I know you said no to plugging your channel, but would love to hear more if you're comfortable.
Yes, Liz.
Go ahead. He asked you
So,
first.
I had a little brief hiatus with some personal stuff, but right now it's still only a few videos up. Seems like the most popular one is my collection tour, which I'm very grateful for everyone watching that. I do have a review of Luke Skywalker, the Snowspeeder Luke, which very very grateful for that figure. I do have some things in the works that should show up this week for the X06 Captain Janeway that I've been waiting to do. Then there's the DX19.
Star Trek.
DX19, Alita, and I got some other things in the works too that I'm trying to flesh out the rest of the ideas.
Okay, awesome. All right. So all the stuff to work into the document, into the gameplay.
Exactly. In the spreadsheets.
In the spreadsheets,
Yes.
man. It's going to
Yes.
be your best friend. You're going to be a spreadsheet aficionado after this.
Oh man, I'm gonna be an expert.
That's right.
Have my own channel.
Really?
Spreadsheets.
Oh,
Spreadsheets, yeah. Oh, spreadsheet.
Write that down. Write that down.
Anytime you want to do some spreadsheet talk, Ty, let me know.
Okay. My first guess, Marco.
There,
That's
yeah,
right.
there you go. That would be a fun time.
Riveting conversation, I'm sure.
Oh boy, I can't see the view statistics for that
Oh
one.
gosh, yeah. Tens of likes, tens.
Tens of likes, yes.
So Liz,
Oh,
Yeah, your turn.
you're up.
Yeah. So my channel sort of was launched at a time that was not, where that wasn't really my focus. And I had some help from, because I was helping other people launch their channels and I was too terrified to do it myself. I don't really like putting myself out there. I like being behind the scenes. And so I had not a friend, a paid coach that was helping me through that. And I want to reimagine my channel very differently than what it is. So it is out there. I think I have 10 subscribers. So that's really, really
Oh,
something.
heck yeah, okay.
Um,
We're
and
gonna get
there's
you
a-
to 15 after this.
There you
What's
go.
the
There
name
you
of the
go.
channel? Liz?
It's just my name. It's just Liz. Oh, nobody knows.
Liz Clark.
Liz Clark is my name.
Clark,
So
okay.
I own Vantage Point Enterprises. I'm a project manager, business consultant, currently working with a lot of large corporations to do project management, helping them do capital expansion projects. So the focus of that channel was to help small businesses or people who wanted to launch their ideas online to do that. But I think I only have like 1 or 2 videos still public because the launches that I did closed. Yeah, so that's that channel, but it'll be changing in the next
Okay.
6 months to a year.
Reimagining. Okay. Well, we're
Reimagining
looking
it,
forward
yes.
We're looking forward to seeing what you're cooking up there.
It'll be a
Well-
spreadsheets based channel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cuervo saying, I rented a movie called Spreadsheets once. It was exactly what what I thought it would be.
Amazing.
Even LawTube has just done a D&D game. I don't even know what LawTube is, Tukathri, but I'm assuming it's law-related YouTube. Equan saying spreadsheets or spreadsheets?
Yep,
Yeah,
I
you
saw
gotta
that
be,
one.
ooh.
Yeah, be careful.
We've been, Liz, we've been on our best behavior with you recently today, but we get a little bit wild sometimes. So
That's okay.
But no, go ahead, Ty.
I was just gonna say there was one stream I was on, and I guess it was me and someone popped up in the chat that was like stretched butthole.
Yeah, I remember that. I was on that.
Yeah,
And I was texting
was
you
the
like, is this
username?
who it is? Is
yeah,
this
it's like stretched, worn out
one
butthole or
one
something.
stretch butthole or
Oh my
something?
Stretched
gosh.
Yeah.
butthole. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's actually
One of those
Creativity
moments.
is
Yeah.
It was one of those
creativity.
moments, Gigi, where I was like, what am I doing here?
yeah. You're like,
What is-
why?
What is
that's-
happening?
So full disclosure, that is my burner account. So
It was you. Okay.
that was me. But that's awesome. Yeah, we've seen some very creative ones. I will not list them here, but um, just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us. This was an awesome conversation, and really looking forward to hearing where your channels are going, where you're going, together, and would love to have a follow-up convo once you sort through the spreadsheets and get a business plan together for Ty, and once the the printing is a bit further along, would love to hear more about how that's going and how you're managing
you.
to find balance through all that.
You.
Thank you for having us. This has been great.
Yeah.
And good for my mental health too.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. Maybe not for Ty's, but for
Oh no, I'm good. Slowly.
all right. Yeah, slowly. There
Yeah,
you go.
Commander Green. See, you can just tell your wife it's just for you to vent. It's just for you to
Yeah.
have.
That's right.
It's cool.
That's right.
Yep.
So I would just say on our channel, we do want to drop another episode of the podcast. We're aiming for next weekend. So after Gigi's hearing, we can kind of, get to all the figures we've been meaning to talk about. And we'll probably get that out again next Friday or Saturday. So no promises from this one, but that is the goal. And in the meantime, I've started a series called Bargain Bin Bros, where I bring on other collectors or just myself and kind of talk about figures that you should definitely wait on because there's so much coming out. There's a lot that are sitting on the shelves, ways that you can save some money. And it's probably every figure from here on out, but there's been some exemptions. Go ahead, Gigi.
Let me I'll give you the best tip to save some money. Don't buy it.
Wow. Okay, well, when that's not the option, this is the plan B, all right?
It can be 10-second series if you let me
I know.
take over.
We're
that.
gonna let her guess. We're gonna let her guest host one of them and just be like, "Don't get these." All right.
Don't get it.
And that wraps it up, guys.
Yeah.
Just
You're
don't
not-
just don't buy it.
You're not wrong, but if you have to have it, go ahead, Liz.
I just wanted to say, Gigi, good luck with the hearing.
Thank you.
Although I'm sure the amount of prep that you're doing, you won't need the luck at all. But I hope that it goes the way that you expect it.
Me too.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. Thank you all for hopping in, and we will catch you on the next one. Gigi, do you want to take us out?
Bye.